All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another StarCast TV cast. I'm Noob, and with me is iRk-RoyalBlue, and we're here to bring you a great match, a great game between two outstanding players. Light, which is the I want to say gray Terran
Hmm.
on the bottom left, and Hero, the yellow Zerg on the top right.
Yeah, these are definitely some outstanding players here, so this should be a really awesome match of Terran versus Zerg, which is always a fun matchup to observe. And we'll see what these, pretty much top-notch Korean players have for us. And the map will be Shakuras Plateau. So there's definitely a ton of expansions on this map.
Oh yeah. You know what Shakuras Plateau kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of that old Circuit Breaker map.
Hmm.
Kind of, in the sense that it's all expansions are basically on the outer rim of the map, right?
Hmm.
I
And
guess the
there's
only
like
difference.
a platform in the middle.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a little bit of a raised platform, right? But yeah, it just gives me a little bit of a flashback, right?
Hmm.
Right to that iconic map. So yeah, getting straight into the game. We go over to Terran. We see barracks coming down, regular timing, 11 barracks. Nothing too crazy, right? We see 12 hatchery coming down from Zerg. Again, super standard build. SCV coming out to scout. Yeah. Any thoughts on the game, Royal Blue?
Well, they're cross bonds on Shakura, so it's most likely this kind of macro play is not going to get punished. So I think the 12 hatch opening is pretty good. We'll see. I think light is most likely going to, depending on how they scout here, which they're seeing the Overlord for first. So they're going to send their SCV immediately over to Hero's base. I think
Yeah,
once
that's
they see this hatch, they're just going to expand, right?
yeah. I think. Well, actually, he can't. He's taking the second depot already, so
Hmm.
expansion gonna be a little bit. Well, I don't want to say delayed, but I mean it's not super greedy. 15 CC.
Yeah, it's
Expansion.
18 CC now, so it isn't that greedy. You're right. It's actually after one Marine, so just one Marine, but pretty good SCV production as well.
Look at this. Three hash Zerg coming out of Hero. Well, what is this, man? Like 2019, 2018.
Yeah,
Uh,
unheard
you
of.
know, exactly. Like the three hatch, it used to be the standard Zerg opening versus Terran, but after two hatch kind of got figured out, it became the go-to for Zerg. Well, actually, like 2.5 hatch, right? That's what they call it now, right? You get like a little bit of a delayed third hatch after layer starts. But Hero, he's just going for it. Three hatch before layer, so a little bit of an older style we're seeing coming out of Hero.
Yeah, it's a older style, but I think it's definitely still viable. There's nothing like outlandish about going three hatch really. It's just something you don't see as often these days. But
Yeah,
the
for
lair is
sure.
already
I
being
agree.
rushed for, so I think it's just going to be mutas, right?
Yeah, most likely it's going to be three hatch muta. On the other side of the map, though, we do see the counter pioneered or well perfected by Flash himself. It's going to be the 5 racks plus one, I think. We can see Engineering Bay coming down, and we can also see Academy coming down before the second barracks. So this 5 racks plus one style, it again perfected by Flash, right? It's really hard for the Zerg to deal with, especially if they open up with the three hatch middle build, right?
Yeah, just because the Marines with the plus one do trade so effectively against Mutalists.
Yeah,
So
and
it is
there's
kind of a
so many
counterplay.
Marines.
Yeah.
The I guess like the X factor would be the mutalist control, right? I mean, with amazing enough mutalist control, you can get anything, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, we do see Spar coming down from
Yeah, there's a
Hero.
Spire. So the advantage of this also is you will, I think, have potentially more Zerglings because you're just going to have better macro.
Yeah, definitely. With that extra hatch, extra larvae, better macro, a little bit of a better economy, right?
Yeah, the trade-off is you don't get your mutas as quick, but you should have more of them, and just maybe you'll be able to take a faster third. We'll see how Hero decides to play this out, though. They weren't really too interested in a fast third in the last game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a different style of tech path, right? I think the hero was trying. I think he was going for 2-hatch Crazy Zerg, right?
Yeah, definitely a different tech path than the last game, that's for sure.
A bit of a couple Zerglings statsing in light
yes.
natural.
Trying to poke away at some Marines, but light not being baited out just yet. And now with a good amount of medics, 4 medics gonna push forward and force the Zerglings back somewhat. So a new like SimCity on this map for light. And I think that's gonna help out against these Zerglings if they do try to do a counterattack. But the mutas are, just now popping. And there's the Evo.
Beautiful scan, by the way, also from light. Seeing the mutas come out, he's got the timing down pat, right? And we see turrets coming up in his base. He'll be able to counter his Marines. Now out on the field. Gonna try to intercept those mulas.
Yeah, the mutas are actually just heading straight for the Nat, though. They're not interested in fighting those Marines, which are already out on the map. And they're building so many sunkens now at the Nat. Yeah, this is interesting play to go for mass sunks here. The mutas taking out one turret.
Yeah, I think Hero is afraid of a counterattack by Light's Marine medic squad on the map. That's why he went for mass sunken. But I'm not sure if Light is actually going to attack with that group. I think he's more like he's searching for a third, right? So Hero might have just sacrificed 5 drones for nothing, right? Oh yeah, we can see the strength of the 5 racks plus 1. I mean, Light can afford to have a group of Marine medic roaming on the map while simultaneously defending his base, because the production is just crazy off these 5 barracks, right? Enough to stop these mulas.
Yeah, there's really no opportunity here for Hero to even take a third base, as we're seeing Light with so many Marines just patrolling the map right now, and also having enough to defend their Nat mineral line. So these mutas not as effective as you would like to see. Here is a drone making its way over to the top left, though, and it looks like it will be able to take an expansion there. So that will at least benefit Hero in some way. Hero behind this, yeah, going for lurkers.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. Totally agree with you. This is a much more standard, play coming out from Hero, right? He's gonna attack for lurkers, then his hive, then he's gonna get probably his defilers, and then ultras, right? When he gets full gases or late. Okay, wait, hold that thought. Look in the middle of the map. Zerg ambushing that Super Marine medic, picks it off. Great play by Hero. Runs away. He only loses a couple of units. Definitely a good trade for Hero.
Yeah, we saw this in the game on Eclipse as well. A really good trade leads to Hero staying alive at least a little bit longer. But I'm not sure if it's enough to turn the tide. It definitely had to happen, because I think, again, that much Marine medic, if it gets grouped up, is just so powerful at this stage in the game, especially with the +1 attack. But I think there's still going to be enough Terran here. The Lurker A doesn't really completely wall. And the mutas are camping on top of the ramp, so this actually might work. We'll see.
Yeah,
Good
it will
muta
come
control.
down. Yeah, it will come down to these 2 lurkers, but as you said, there's a hole.
Yeah, there's a hole in there, and so there's so many Marines are making their way up. But here come the Lurkers. They burrowed on top of the ramp, and this is such a good position for Lurkers. Ooh, and those Marines getting grouped up on the ramp and taken out. So this actually swung against Light pretty hard, I gotta say, as soon as those Lurkers got burrowed. But here's a second group.
Definitely a huge pickup from Hero. He needed to hold that third base, right? And he did it. He made it work. Great play coming out from Hero. Those Lurkers, man, burrowing Nick a tie. The Milos support, right?
Yeah, with Mutas, so strong at this stage, especially on top of a ramp like that. It's like the only way Zerg can take a third. But now I feel Zerg is pretty weak. They lost, was that all their Mutas they just lost? So they don't have a huge army right now.
Right, Zerg. Well, Zerg might not have a huge army right now, but I mean, the army that he had did get the job done, right? He does have the third gas critically, right? He has his tech up, right? So I would definitely say that he's at least in a better position than he was last game.
Yeah, we see the Lurkers. I would agree with you. This is a better position. We see the Lurkers trying to take some ground out here and maybe even set up for a fourth base. But now they're getting pushed back on top of the ramp. They're going to burrow and try to slow down these siege tanks and Marines from getting up here. Here comes the Defiler with Dark Swarm. Oh, but it doesn't have energy.
That Ling sweep around from the back cleans up the tanks, and another Terran army cleaned up by the Zerg.
Wow.
Dude, this third is a Terran graveyard.
Yes.
Like, how many armies have died here, man?
Do not invade this top left corner. But it looks like even with the consume here, the Terran is going to keep pushing. And they do have an irradiate if they choose to use it. There they
Gets
go.
down though. Terran forced to fall back. Another swarm might come. Good targeting by that tank, killing the Defiler under swarm even with the splash. I think he was setting up for a plague or something. There. Light getting the good old double expand. Definitely, this is super standard also, by the way. You get into this, it's definitely super standard for Terran to take a double expand, especially on these like four base maps. But it looks like a pack. Is that what you call a pack of Zerglings coming out?
Yeah, a swarm, a pack, definitely. And they're over here in the bottom right. They're gonna take out one of these expansions at least for the time being. I really like what Light's doing here, though. Actually, going for this mech switch, so adding on 2 more factories, getting an armory, and going with vultures for the time being to try to get some map control, and then maybe take, you know, this whole bottom right side.
Yeah, for sure, man. This game is like a 2018, 2019 flashback. Remember when Flash repopularized the mech switch after going bio? And we see Hero going 3 hatch, right? It's definitely blast from the past, man. This game.
Yeah, this used to be super standard. Definitely the mech switch and the 5 racks plus 1 were very common for a time. And I think it's going to work on this map. They just need to set up some mines because Zerg is getting their counterattacks off. And right now they're shutting down Terran expansions.
Yeah, I want to say like Hero doing it beautifully, man. Because with the mech switch, one of the biggest weaknesses was that in between doing the mech switch, there would be a time of Terran vulnerability, right? Right, that they need some time to complete the switch, so to speak, right? And with Hero constantly harassing, I mean, Light still going off 2 bases, right? I mean, he's gonna get like a lot of bases up soon, but the fact that he can't really utilize the bases, like he can't mine from them, is huge. And look, another huge swarm of Zerglings coming down. Gonna maybe like deny both of the bottom right bases. I mean, this is huge. Hero on the other hand, he's got his fourth gas up, fourth base up. Zerg is entering that like really powerful stage, right? Especially with those 4 gases. It's
Yeah,
definitely Hero.
The investment of these Zerglings to attack this base is not that high either, so definitely I like the position Hero's in here with the 4th base kicking in.
Yeah, we do see Light trying to lay some mines around the map. Now with this mech style against Zerg, mines are king. You know, like, if there's one thing you got to do to be active in the map, I would say even more than trying to run your vultures around, getting drone kills like into the Zerg space, it's lay those mines, man. It is so key to get those mines out on the map, and looks like Light is starting to get that done.
Yeah, mines are just so effective at holding space and having map control. If you can mine up this middle area here on the map, this kind of raised platform, you know, you've really cut down on Zerg's mobility, and there's not a lot Zerg can do to really deal with mines. They need to get like Hydras, you know, like, or they're gonna have to suicide packs of Zerglings.
That was a good pick off by Light though. Irradiating that defiler. I think Light was trying to go for like a small like swarm time with a bunch of lings, you know.
Yeah, but now lifting off the barracks, so even more map presence for Terran. As we can see, they're kind of controlling the minimap, so it's going to be really hard for Zerg to get any kind of counterattacks off. And and Terran's going into straight tanks with double armory, so this is going to be a scary mech switch when it gets going. Here they are kind of suiciding units. Don't like this fight. 100 Dark Swarm.
Yeah, couldn't break it, couldn't do it. It was a nice try, but it couldn't hit his stride, I think, and Zerg will hold his fort. I think Light needs another base though. He really needs to control another main, you know, if you're gonna play this style, right? Hero trying to do a counterattack. A lot of lurkers, a lot of ultras coming down to the bottom right, but will it be enough? Light flooding forces down to the bottom right.
This could be huge if Hero can break through here and get maybe on top of this high ground, or you know, deny that bottom right base. You know, that could really swing things in their favor, and they've taken out all these tanks with the Ultra that's very well placed right on top of the tanks, and they've still got some lurkers alive. So now it looks like the SCVs are getting pulled already, which is not what they want to do because there's still some lurkers out there.
Light losing his vessels as well to the Scourge, and another massive swarm of Ling Ultra coming down to deny the right. If the bottom right falls for Light, this will be good game. You know, he'll be basically on what, like 2 bases. His main is mined out, so he has to be able to hold this. But
GG.
Out.
Wow, I'm surprised by that. Actually, I thought Terran was in a little better position. I don't think it was over there.
I would agree he was in a better position, but I think what really turned the game around is that while Light was trying to transition, Hero kept on delaying the bases, right? Yeah, and that really allowed him to take the momentum back and win the game. Good game, great game out of these two players.